Everyone, my name is Sheilin Herrick. I'm the Director of Marketing at SOS Online Backup. I will be joined shortly by our Director of Product Management, Derek Wood. And in the meantime, I will hang on here for just a few more seconds and let some more people join the webinar. If you don't mind, if you could let me know if you can see my screen and hear me okay, just type in the questions tool and let me know. Thanks. Okay, so it looks like everyone is able to hear me and see my screen. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. In this webinar, we're going to cover a number of things. Number one will be our industry overview and what the opportunity is for you in selling online backup. A quick review of the features and benefits in our 363 partner program. What is in our SOS ServerSave product. This is a product that's going to help you sell to small to medium-sized businesses. Our data center and infrastructure information, and of course the top 5 security features that your customers want in online backup. We'll go over pricing and a product tour. So if you have any questions along the way, please ask. We love questions. We love to know what you guys are thinking, and if there isn't anything that we have missed in the webinar, we certainly want to try to cover that for you. So please don't be shy and ask away. And if we don't know the answer, we'll get back to you later on with a correct answer. So what's going on in the online backup industry? A lot of stuff. I'd like to draw your attention first to the innovation adoption lifecycle chart on the right-hand side of the screen. Where we are with cloud backup today is in the early majority-ish area. So if you think about the iPhone as an example, several years ago the iPhone first came out and there were a number of people who were just clamoring for it. They were the innovators. This happens with every type of new product. There are always innovators. There are always early adopters, and so on. So the innovators are always the guys that are like, oh my God, I don't care how much it costs, I must absolutely have this new thing. With online backup, it's moved past that, which is a good thing because that means that the overall market opportunity is much larger. A number of things have occurred macroeconomically to allow us to move down this innovation adoption lifecycle. Number one is the extension of internet bandwidth. So more people are able to put more data up in the cloud. They're able to put bigger files up in the cloud. It just simply seems more accessible, and it is more accessible. We've had a decrease of hosted storage costs around the world. So not only is it faster now to put data up into the cloud, but it is cheaper once it gets there to keep it there. The technical sophistication of the population has improved. So this probably correlates most heavily to the innovation adoption lifecycle because we're talking about groups of people and what they know about online backup. The technical sophistication of the population has improved. More people know about what online backup is and they understand the concept of the cloud. Additionally, they're less afraid of it. Several years ago, the idea of just putting stuff up into some servers somewhere that you didn't know where they were was frightening, but now it's common to provide a lot more transparency about those servers, about that location, and about its security features. And we're going to talk a bit about that later. And finally, the size and value of digital data that people are creating is much larger. So it's cheaper to keep stuff in the cloud, it's faster to get it up there, and people are creating just more stuff, more digital stuff. I'm sure you guys are. We are doing it right now. We are recording this webinar. You can have it later. And I don't really want to lose that. It's employee information. It is helpful to you. It's helpful to me to have a recorded version of this webinar. I want to put it up in the cloud so I can get it back later if something bad happens. And that goes for a lot of things. That goes for essays, white papers, case studies, copy, spreadsheets, all these things that employees and companies may be working on. We want to protect it. It's valuable to the employer. So a lot of you guys probably used tape in the past. Can I get kind of a digital show of hands on how many of you had been selling tape backup in the past to your customers, and now you're looking to move away from that and move to off-site backup? A lot of people out there are, and so the biggest area is business spend. So businesses are moving more away from tape backup, of course, because more businesses had tape backup. It was, pretty uncommon that you would come across a home user that had tape backup. So businesses are familiar with what tape backup is, familiar with the concept of backup. They know that it's good for them, and they also now know that it's much safer to encrypt data when you're backing it up and to keep it off-site. Tape used to be cheaper than online backup, and that's not so anymore. So we're able to address an emerging market with a feature set that is years ahead of our competitors. What are SMBs looking for in online backup? They're looking for total business protection. Without reading through everything on the screen here, it's pretty simple to say that they're looking for a one-stop shop. They want to be able to back up all of their servers, all their laptops, desktops, mobile devices, everything, and provide themselves with complete business continuity with one solution. And by the way, that makes it more secure too, because there is less opportunity for human error, either on the part of the IT professional or on the part of anybody within the organization using the system, if that is happening in your case. I'd like to pause quickly and see if there are any questions. Again, I love questions. I want to answer anything that I possibly can for you guys and make sure that you're totally informed. No questions, no problem. Moving on. So what is in the SOS 360-degree Partner Program? So for those of you on the line, you're clearly looking into a solution that you can resell to your customers. So technically you could resell any solution, but how do we make it easier for you? Make it easier for you in a lot of ways. We give you effectively a business in a box. You can start selling very, very quickly. I should no longer say 3 weeks. I really should say technically you can start selling in 3 days. If you want to make sure that you're fully trained and up to speed, it might take you a little bit longer, but technically you can start selling in 3 days. We offer you a website template, which also gives you access to our account positioning APIs, and we'll talk more about what that means in a bit. We give you the flexibility to update the content, your logos, and the sections on this website template. We offer integrated billing, and this is different by country. So some countries are much more interested in other types of billing than others. So like your country, for example, if you're in South Africa, you want to integrate with Paygate, we can do that. We offer rebranded clients. So for the Online Backup and Recovery Manager client that you'll see later on in the demo, that can be rebranded with your logo, and you can do so from the partner dashboard very, very easily. There are rebranded sales materials available and rebranded marketing materials. And we just recreated a new, what we call the Partner Resource Center, which is a post-sale asset that you get to help you sell and market online backups, and it's very attractive. I'm very happy about it. We offer weekly live trainings with our product development and support teams. And best of all, there is no hardware purchase required. The getting up and started, well, time and expense is very, very minimal. It's easy to get up and running, and your payment plans can be just like a cell phone bill. Very simple. How do we compare against other reseller programs? Quite well. We offer 12/7 partner support here from our Los Angeles office. We offer business development assistance. So after you become a partner, we have an employee who's completely dedicated to helping you grow your business. Hey, that may be strategic thinking, it may be marketing plans, it may be sales pitches. His name is Mike Zerudny, and he is there to help you. And of course, all things rebranded, client, marketing materials, sales materials, and you can update your website template. This is something that other partner programs out there in the world simply do not offer, and we think it's a great benefit to you because we had partners that Derek was working with in the past that were spending $5,000, $10,000, even $15,000 on creating their own website. And while this isn't a completely customized website, they'll get you a web presence if you don't already have one, which is a huge benefit to some partners that are just starting to sell online backup. And that brings me to my next point. You will be able to sell online backup on this website template. You'll be able to create accounts, provision accounts, and people will be able to purchase your online backup solution from you from the website template. You don't even need to talk to them because it's a completely passive sale, which gives you more opportunity to make more money. Our data centers are located in the UK, US, Canada, and Australia. If you do need specific country backup, like say you are backing up a bank in Canada, you can back up specifically to Canada. And we offer Exchange backup, SQL backup, and Windows backup. So what is in the SOS product suite? I like to start on the right-hand side of this chart and talk about the system data backup and application data backup, because this is really what your small to medium-sized businesses are going to be interested in. They want to back up SQL servers, Exchange servers, Sharepoint servers. They want to do bare metal images and be able to restore these items to any dissimilar hardware. And you can do that with the SOS ServerSave product, which you'll be able to get in our partner program. You'll have access to generic, partner branded, so not SOS branded, your iPhone and Android applications, so your customers will be able to download those applications from the Google Play and iTunes Store and access their data with them. And of course, our bread and butter, we back up your file data, documents, images, and emails. We have a question from Kenneth. Can you elaborate on what a gigabyte is, i.e. raw data, compressed data, dedupe data? Also, what is the retention in the data? Great question. So a gigabyte is raw data.
Right. So our whole system is based on, first, allocation. So when you create an account for 50 gigs, 100 gigs, that's what's considered used from your order. The reason we do that is because we don't limit on where you can back up data for the sake of pricing schemes of, well, if we limit them this way, they'll use less bandwidth or less storage, so we can make it cheaper, etc. So we charge based on allocation with the idea that there's full usage of that space. The gigabyte definition is on the raw data side, so at the point of selecting the data, we compress and we encrypt the data to make transfer faster. As far as dedupe, we do have unlimited file versioning at no additional cost. So if you have a file that is changing on a regular basis and it's backing up on a regular basis, and you have hundreds of versions, say of an Outlook PST file, say it's 2 gigs, you have 400 versions. You don't need 800 gigs to have access to all those versions. You only need 2 gigs. So we just count the largest version of that file.
Thanks, Derek. Tom asked, is the price per gigabyte measured before the compression or after the compression?
Before. It's upon selection of the data.
Yeah, but remember, all the versions that you're backing up, we do not put those increments towards your original file. You're only counted for your original file. Okay, thanks for the questions, guys. So let's talk a little bit more about SOS ServerSave. This is the product that you're going to see a demo on later on in the presentation, and this is the product that you would be selling your small to medium-sized business clients. How many of you on the call today have small to medium-sized business clients? Maybe these are like CPA offices, legal offices, medical offices, people like that. I would love to know, because this part of the presentation is going to be even more applicable to you if those are the kind of customers that you have. So SOS ServerSave offers a number of features, all from what we call a single pane of glass. They're accessible through one single installer. You will be able to have Exchange, backup, and granular recovery. You'll recover mail, message, and contact, basically anything that's an inbox item. You will have bare metal image creator, which is what you'll use to create bare metal images of Exchange, Windows servers, SQL servers, basically any Windows-based server, and you can restore it to dissimilar hardware. Online Backup and Recovery Manager is the tool that you will use to send those bare metal images up into the cloud for later recovery. And Workstation Backup is what you will use to back up laptops, workstations, file servers, and files and folders. Of course, Premier Web Integration, this means your website integration package. So you'll get your integrated billing management, merchant accounts, and more, and be able to customize the content on that website template to your business, as well as partner branded partner branded Android and iPhone applications. So your customers will be able to access, share, stream, and view data anywhere on the globe with these native applications. So you guys have probably been shopping around. You might be curious about how SOS ServerSave compares to some other guys out there in the market. Here's a handy chart that shows how we compare against Zenith, Intronus, and eVault. We've put great care into making sure that SOS ServerSave is as universally usable as possible, and we found that some areas where our competitors may fall short are in mobility and seats per account. So seats per account, it doesn't mean that you can't have unlimited seats per account and you can't have many seats per account. But what it means is, with other services, you often get charged per seat per account. It can make your backup very expensive. It can make it much more difficult for you to be competitive in the marketplace. SOS ServerSave does not do that. You will have access to backup unlimited desktops and laptops with your account. Your only limitation is the number of gigabytes that you have. And also mobility. It's a huge advantage to have native applications that your customers can use to restore data and access data. So if they have the native application, that doesn't just mean that they're able to back up data on the phone. It means that they're able to access data that they may have backed up on their computer. So just think of all of these access points as password-protected points of entry to the backups that have already occurred. And then finally, another really important point about how this product is different is that it uses transactionally consistent backups. We'll talk about this more later, but it's very important to use transactionally consistent backups as opposed to crash consistent backups, because that ensures that for a database that's changing constantly, like maybe an SQL database, it is done doing all of its changes before its image is taken. So there's no chance of taking a bare metal image of a server that has data maybe en route, but it's complete. I'll pause here quickly and see if there are any questions. I'm more than happy to answer anything about anything we've talked about or anything you think that we haven't touched. Okay, let's move on to a little conversation about our data center. First of all, our South African data center actually went live 2 days ago, so I do need to update this presentation, but we're very happy to have a point of presence there. That's a really exciting market right now. It's pretty hot. A lot of things are going on. We have a total of 11 global points of presence, and we've back up data to military-grade data centers in London, Toronto, LA, Houston, Dallas, and Melbourne. So if you do have customers within one of those specific countries, like say UK, and they want to back up only in the UK, we can do that. Just let your partner specialists know. So what are the top 5 security features your customers want? I'll warn you ahead of time that some of these may not seem like they are security features, but since online backup inherently needs to be secure, some of the features that we're going to talk about are ones that your customers may ask about, that they may want to make sure that you have or have access to make sure that their backups are reliable and therefore secure. Number 1 is multi-layered encryption. SMBs often require multi-layered encryption, and we at SOS call this military-grade encryption because it is the same practice used by the U.S. military. We encrypt data locally, encrypt it again in transit, and keep it encrypted when it's at rest in the data center. We also offer an additional security feature called UltraSafe. So this prevents a password from being recovered by the wrong person, ever. This feature makes SOS Online Backup HIPAA compliant. If you have customers that do need to be HIPAA compliant, we can do that.
As well as HIPAA compliant for the U.S.-based healthcare.
Yes. Thanks, Derek. Number 2 is Tier 3 and Tier 4 data centers. So, of course, our customers want to be sure that their data is totally safe once it is backed up, because that's why they're doing their backups, right? Not only to be able to get it back, but to make sure that it's secure. Data center security features are major differentiators of online backup solutions. So you may find that some backup solutions out there have one Tier 2 data center, but they don't really like to talk about it. You want to look for Tier 3 and Tier 4 data centers. So what is special about Tier 3 and Tier 4 data centers? They have fire suppression systems, redundant air conditioning systems, redundant 1 gigabit per second connections, and physical security features such as on-site monitoring, biometric identification, and video monitoring. So it is a vault.
And all the bells and whistles you need in a data center. Also, our security is such that only 2 people in our whole company actually have access and permission to enter the data centers that we do use. So we have some partners who have asked for tours of the data center facilities. I'm sorry, Sheilin and I are not even on the list for that tour.
No, as much as I would love to see it, I am not allowed. All right. So centralized management. Remember how I said that we might talk about some things that didn't really seem like security features, but actually are? This is one of those tricky little guys. It's important to be able that you can maintain reporting and managing backups from a central system. It verifies the security of the data in the cloud. If you had multiple systems from which you had to get backup reports and make sure that your backups had all completed, you would have more room for error. By being able to get reporting and monitoring from a single pane of glass, it makes sure that your data and your backups are much more secure. So you know that they're going off site to this Tier 3 and Tier 4 data center. From centralized management, you should be able to report on backups, review backup success or failure, confirm that data is safe in the cloud, and have it be password protected. And we'll look at a demo of that exact system here in a little bit. Number 4 is transactionally consistent bare metal backup. So I did talk about this earlier, so I will not repeat myself too much. But the bottom line is that you want to ensure that constantly changing databases are backed up with transactionally consistent backups so that any change in the database didn't get forgotten or didn't get lost. This is really important for customers with SQL databases and file servers. And number 5, password-protected access to backups. I can't imagine that this exists anywhere in the world, but it's really important. You need to have password-protected points of access to your backup and recovery mechanisms and your data. This is all your dashboards, your central management, inside your software client, mobile applications, and any web access that exists. You've got to have it password protected. It's very important, and your customers want it. I'll stop here and see if there are any questions. I see that everyone is very attentive, so hopefully you're all having a good time and learning a lot, but please ask questions if you got them. And we're ready to move on to pricing. There are usually a lot of questions here, and so please bring them on. So you've got a great revenue opportunity in online backup. It's a great revenue opportunity because it's cost effective for you on a wholesale basis, and it's recurring revenue. So if you're tired of doing one-off jobs, like maybe one-off data recovery jobs and making one big pop of $500 and then you don't have another $500 coming in for that same type of job next month, online backup is going to solve your problem. Online backup is something that businesses need on a recurring basis. Therefore, that's a recurring revenue opportunity for you. That is the absolute definition of business continuity. You need to be able to get your data back at any time. So to enter into this program, you can start with SOS ServerSave 5, which includes 5 server licenses, which you can use on any type of server you like. It can be Exchange server, it can be an SQL server, whatever you like, as long as it is Windows-based, and 1 terabyte of cloud space, and this starts at $399 per month. So what we recommend you do is sell this for $129 a month. This is a kind of commodity pricing. So if you're not planning on adding any disaster recovery services or any kind of additional consulting into the sales, then this is a commodity price and it's what you would charge. So it is low. So if you were to enter into the SOS ServerSave 5 program and then sell each of your server backups for $129 a month each, you'd be making $246 a month. It would only take you 2 months to make back your initial monthly investment. And of course, you are paying. This is a monthly program. There are annual discounts. So if you wanted to purchase an entire year of online backup, you'd pay for only 10 months of it. Definitely talk to your partner specialist about that. Kenneth asked, do you only support Windows servers? For the moment, yes. Yeah, we've got a lot of things on the roadmap, and we definitely invite you to become part of that after you become a partner, but right now, no. France asked, what is the surcharge for using the South African data center backup on SOS ServerSave 5? I believe that the surcharge is 15%. please check with your partner specialist on that and do a full ROI analysis and make sure that you have the opportunity to make money on that. We do an ROI analysis with you, and we talk about who your customers are and what they might pay and what exactly they need in order to make sure that you guys are going to make money on this program. Kenneth asked, can you also reiterate on the retention? If I have a 200 gigabyte SQL database and I want to take a nightly backup and keep 14 days worth, I only consume 200 gigabytes of cloud space. Let us think about that for a second. I might have to read it again. Okay. If I have a 200 gigabyte SQL database and I want to take a nightly backup and keep 14 days worth, I only consume 200 gigabytes of cloud space.
No, that's not the way that the imaging system works. So the image creator works by selecting a volume, and it'll take a full image of the volume that you've selected, SQL being on that volume. So if you have a 200 gig SQL database and you take an initial backup of it, the compression may take it down to maybe half of that, maybe less, maybe a little more. And then the incrementals from that point would be rather small. So it would be based, and then the amount of data that would be used would be based on the replication of that. The system identifies files as being versions of each other if they are the same file. So the file path from machine name to file name doesn't change. Inherently with image-based incrementals, when you have SQL databases or Exchange databases, Sharepoint server, these types of things, you don't have a strict overriding version. You don't have to do incrementals. You could just do a full backup every week, and then every week have another 100 gigs of data to back up. The strategy behind how you can get image-based backups to the cloud really depends upon your environment. So this is a brand new backup strategy that's just been employed in the last year or so, really, at this level especially. And you have to think about it a little differently in terms of what we had previously been doing with image-based backup systems. So our recommendation is use the continuous incremental, which we'll show you in the demo, and you would back up the full backup initially, take that off-site, and then every night you back up an incremental file. You can use Image Manager to consolidate those incrementals on a, say, weekly basis, and our backup system is being built with a wizard just for image-based backups that will coincide with the consolidation. So as you consolidate all your incrementals from a certain week into one file, it'll remove the files that were consolidated. So really it's a matter of, and this is about project management and risk management overall. There are certain things we can do to prevent issues. There are certain things we can do to react to issues. And the way we decide what we're going to do in each of those scenarios, or we're just going to accept the risk, is based on the perceived chance of something happening, the damages of that occurrence, and the cost of whatever it is you want to do to prevent and or react to that specific environment. No, not exactly. And Ken, if you want to talk more specifically after this, I'd recommend setting up a time with your partner specialist and getting a sales engineer on the line, and then they can go through much more specifically what it is you'd like to get set up, because really we just don't have the time to go through it, although it's a great question. So I recommend everyone, if you have very specific environments like Ken does for what you want to put this on and you want to see how that can go about it, our partner specialists are standing by, and they can make an appointment for the three of you, our partner specialists and one of our sales engineers, to talk about this deployment more specifically. So any questions about the pricing before we go on to opening up a demo? All right. Well, first thing I'm going to do, we're going to go right into the demo, is bring you to our website. So the website's always a great resource for our partners. You can come in here. You can take a look at different webinars we have. So we have live webinars. We have recorded webinars so you can look at. We've got the download page. But really, it's the support page that they're all about. Partner support, you have a hotline that comes to our Los Angeles office. We just recently migrated all of our partner support reps here to Los Angeles. So from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific, you will get somebody here by calling this line. We recommend that you submit a ticket first and then call, because somebody's got to submit the ticket, and it's a lot faster if you do it first and then give us the number versus the rep having to communicate over the phone and get it for you. Just a little recommendation, and we go over that in our weekly training session. Sheilin mentioned that we do have partner trainings and how to get up to speed. We do host it on a weekly basis, and we have recordings of it. So the best practices, the basic usage of all the systems, basic troubleshooting, those sorts of things. We have our knowledge base as well, and our knowledge base is great because you can come in here and you can search for any number of things about the program, about the specific software setup, about some new products that we have coming out with Collaborate. So this is a great resource to come and dig around. You can join the community, start participating in the forums. We just launched Zendesk, and the forums are a little empty right now, but they're coming right along. So then we get into the dashboard. So first thing with the dashboard, when you're delivered, you'll get a login to this dashboard, and this dashboard is actually the biggest thing we have as far as what we're developing against right now. So every 2 weeks, we're going to see new items, new designs, new layouts, all with the idea of being more intuitive and more useful to you and what you want to do on a daily basis. So we have a backup activity view. The backup activity is, what do I need to see immediately? Now in this view, for us, this is a demo that we use for a lot of trials, so these trials will have expired, and we would just remove those records. We have a lot of red, as in no backups have run in the last week. That's because the backup has, the trial's over. So we can filter by, what's okay, although we would always want to see that. We want to see more specifically, what is wrong. So you have warnings, errors, statuses. This email address is going to receive a daily digest of what all the deployments are currently doing, so the most recent status of this deployment being the account itself, this system. That's the monitoring system. Then we have backup history, which was just published this morning. These systems will give you an exportable view. So if you wanted to look up just a single account and export this for, say, a customer or yourself, then you can see just on this account, show me what's been happening, for the last 30 days. And it'll give you this. We can export this to Excel. So that's nice. Then we have the command center, which this is still having items published against it. This was just put in today, and this is another item where it's an account level view. So you can see the size of the account, the use space on the account, so you'll have alerts for accounts that reach their quota, and those types of things. Then we have rebranding settings. So the rebranding of the software, you have your product name you can change, update the logo, update the desktop icon, the sender address for email reports, and if you want to change the URLs that are used in the client software or the My Account system, you can do that here too. Then we have, of course, updates and news feed. And we recommend subscribing to this because we do publish against it on a regular basis. So we're going to be updating some updates tomorrow and then again next week. And then we send out updates via direct email as well. So you can subscribe via RSS or email. You can manage your licenses here. So if you want to find a ServerSave license, it's very simple to do so. You hit assign, enter the username, hit save, and then you're good. And then we have our web integration package. The web integration package, again, it's a very unique, by very unique, I mean completely unique product being offered by us. So as Sheilin was talking about it, this was looked at as a way that we can help our partners get to market faster. So not everyone is really going to need all the features in here, but we give you the tools and you can pick and choose how or if you want to use them. So we have different gateways. So you plug in your credentials to, say, authorize.net, hit submit, and then you're ready to start accepting money to the website. So if we open up what the website looks like, if you get a partner name, .onlinebackupcheckout.com, this is what it looks like. This is all the exact content that you'll be delivered with. So we have a lot of box stuff. You can disable these pages if they don't apply to you. You can change the content, and we recommend changing it and making it sound like your business. And this is really designed for those partners who don't have the web development resources, time, or energy for integrating this stuff into a merchant system, but would like to. For the most part, our users or our partners use this as a leave behind, because most of you are in managed services with businesses, so you don't accept, your businesses aren't signing up through this page, and you're billing them through some other system, and that's fine. But this helps you add another line of revenue. For instance, if you wanted to leave some type of coupon code behind in an office for individual users at each business who want to sign up for this service themselves, and it lets you do that very simply. Franz asked, if we're located in South Africa, can you select South Africa so that the currency change on the website? Yes. So that's what paygate.co.za is all about. So Paygate is a South African gateway. So this supports the RAND. And then eWay for, I don't think we have any Australian partners, but eWay is the one that you would use if you're in Australia. And then PayPal Pro and authorize.net. PayPal Standard and Paygate operate the same, in which payments are not processed directly through the site. So it's not actually going to collect credit card information on this page. When you hit submit, it's going to launch you into the PayPal website. I need to fill that out. Anyways, we have different options in here. We have the mailer that's been integrated. So if you want to send out a mass email, you can enter your mailing settings as far as SMTP settings, all that. You can set different subscriber groups or campaign groups, and then you have mailer statistics that are available. The click-through, bounce rate, open rate, unsubscribe rate. There's a basic support ticketing system that's built into this. Of course, as Sheilin was mentioning, you can change the content. And we have a CSS editor for those of you who know CSS. If you don't know CSS but know enough like me just to read what's going on here, then you can change these things, like changing the font size from 14 to 16. No big deal. And you can do that. The logo at the top of the site, so what appears right here, you update right here. If you do try to mess around with this and you screw some things up, we get a really simple reset button, so that's nice. And then for the specific content and the copy on the page, you come here and we have 10 pages that are built out for you. And of course, you would need to come in and modify the terms page, which is the terms and conditions for the service. You can come in and modify the home page. You have SEO data that you can change per page. You have a simple coupon system, so you can have discounts set up that are either percentage discounts, fixed dollar discounts. You can limit the discount to be good by date or by number of uses. So it gives you a lot of options here. And of course, setting the plans, you can change the size or change the pricing and the title of the plans that are available for you. So by default, you're going to have options for plans between 5 gigs and a terabyte. You can change the pricing for those as you see fit. And then the backup users table, where you can come in and you can cancel accounts, update passwords, change passwords, whatever the case may be. Any questions on the web integration package? So you just tell your partner specialist what you want to go here instead of partner name, your name. So Franz Backup to Online Backup Checkout, and then that'll be set up for you. I'm going to open up the software. Any questions what we've gone through so far? Any of you have web development or web design experience or staff on hand? Mostly web development. Okay, what I'm bringing up now is a Windows 2008 R2 server, as you can see. It's booting up, so let's give this a minute. Okay, so here I have the ServerSave application launched. As the rest of the servers do now. So ServerSave is an executable that you save to your desktop, and the ServerSave really describes a number of applications that are going to give you a full backup solution. So ServerSave as an executable is actually a wrapper application that combines and contains online backup and recovery, bare metal image creator, and exchange granular recovery. And here we have workstation backup listed as well. You all will not have this. The workstation backup and the online backup are the same application. We list it separately. This is more of an emphasis of please back up your workstations. It's one of the biggest holes in backup solutions out there. Typically, if you think about what you're doing for backup, backing up individual workstations is nowhere near the list and often falls under the we told the users where to save stuff. If they don't save stuff there, then it's their own fault. And from a usability standpoint, user experience, that's not really the way that internal processes should be set up. It should be set up with no matter where they save their information, it's being backed up because I have this really simple and easy-to-use backup program running on it. So as we see here, I'm launching Online Backup and Recovery Manager, and it's saying that there's an update available. So we just released this morning, actually, so I'm going to download and install the update. You see that the update is actually via MSI. So if you have a network and if you need to mass deploy an update across the local network via software policy, then that's doable. We have the MSI available for that. For instance, a good question on average, how often are updates released? Let's say monthly. We've been on a pretty quick, it depends what we're working on. We've been updating our dashboard every 2 weeks, and for the last few months, we've been on a monthly release cycle with new versions of the software. So it's pretty frequent. We're just constantly adding bigger, better, faster things to the software. Okay, so I'm in the online backup software now. And actually, I want to start off by going through Image Manager. So when you first install the software, it starts you into the scan section. So there's no backup set selected, so it says, okay, just scan. I'm going to go back, and we're going to hold off on this. I'm going to go through, Image Creator. And we're going to create an image-based backup. So we go here. We have the different volumes. So we have our Exchange Volume E. I'm going to select that. So we're going to accept it as our Exchange backup. Here's where I define a network location for the image-based backup to be protected to. So ideally, it's on another machine that is a dedicated backup machine. That's what we recommend as a full solution, but you can always just pick some local storage device. So here we're going to pick virtual drive F, just to host the backup file. Then we have various schedules. So it's not letting me do some of these schedules, except for throughout the week, because I do have an incremental schedule already set up. So if I go to backup job, I'm going to delete this. You can see it didn't let me overschedule, especially when you have a VSS-based program like this is. It becomes very problematic if you have multiple schedules going at the same time. So we select our F drive. We have our scheduling options. So scheduling, you can do a full backup once a week and an incremental throughout the week, but that becomes very robust as far as getting that off-site, because that's a new 100 or 200 gigs, as Ken was talking about, every week. So with a continuous incremental schedule, you do the initial backup once. So right now it's going to run a full backup. And then ongoing, it's going to run incrementals only between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. every 60 minutes. We're going to have 11 incremental backups a day. And then we can set the online backup to just protect those. So it's using VSS. So again, those of you familiar with VSS, it's a monogamous program. It doesn't like being touched by other things. So if you have other VSS-enabled items, you have to disable those upon running. Compression method for the image backup. Again, this is what's going to be compressed and stored locally. So this is not yet going to the SOS cloud. This is just to create the images. So we'll just leave it as standard, about 50% generally. You can password protect it. So if you do require FIPA or HIPAA compliance, you are required to have your local backups encrypted at 128-bit AES. Until we go to advanced and then encryption, you have that option here. Also, for those older databases that do not have a VSS writer, then you can write a little bat file, and you can stop the database pre-snapshot and then restart it post-snapshot so that you still get your consistent backup. Jeremy asked, can it work on Windows 98? I sure hope not. I sure hope we don't have that backwards compatibility. I would try it, but I don't think so. A few old customers. Yeah, those guys are probably going to be in the same line as using the BAP files for databases that don't have VSS writers. Also, the backup software is a .NET program, and you need .NET 3.5 or above installed. So that may be a problem with Windows 98. Yeah, I'm not sure what you can do with those Windows 98 guys. Update their stuff in secret and then put it back to the classic view. Split image. You can split the image up into smaller chunks. We recommend this for going off-site. If you have a 100 gig file, you'll get much better performance if we split it up into 5 or 6 gig chunks, or 5 to 10 gig chunks. It's just better for the speed of process, because we are going through nonlinear procedures with the encryption and compression. So the online backup does encrypt at 256-bit AES before transfer, and that process is just going to be a lot faster with a lot of smaller files versus one huge file. Also with transfer, if say your net cuts out or your machine gets turned off, or I don't know, you Rabbit owners out there have a rabbit chew through a wire while you're using it, crazier things have happened. But if you sit there for a whole week and try to transfer a 100 gig file, if it gets 99 gigs and fails, you got to start over again. Which is, again, why we recommend using the image splitter built in. Very simple. And it doesn't really affect your recovery procedure at all. So we hit finish. And then this job's going to run. You can go to options and go to agent options, and you can put in an email address for email reports. If you want email reports based on the image-based backup to be set up, that's always nice to have. And then you have the backup history to read here as well. So now we go to the online backup portion. So now that we have an image-based backup running, we can go to this. So there's a simple scanner, so you can scan all the folders for these types of files. And this is really helpful for your workstations because it helps people select data that's important without really understanding how to navigate to that important data. And you can go to the custom fields and you can include or exclude folders based on location or size. So say add, and I would want to add, say, my F drive, because the F drive is where I have the image-based backups. So you can use the scanner, or you can say, I know where everything is, just let me go at it. You can get in the Windows tree view, so the F drive is selected for backup completely. This means that anything added to the F drive will be backed up in the next subsequent backup. So this is where I'm throwing all my image-based files, so that's what I want to do. I hit next. Backup data of the wizard. Okay, backup automatically without user intervention. This is going to create a scheduled task through the Windows Task Scheduler. Backup even when Windows user is not logged on. So the task scheduler requires domain credentials if you're going to do this. So if you're going to be backing up data from network locations, or if you're on a Windows network, it's probably just a good idea to do this so that the backups will run. Otherwise, you will likely get email reports saying 1,000 files were processed, but 900 of them failed, and the reason was because access was denied. So you put in your Windows domain credentials here, and you're good to go. For individual laptops and workstations, especially laptop fleets, we recommend going on an hourly or every couple of hour schedule. It happens very quickly, so it's not that big of a deal. This gives you better protection. For your servers, you would want to limit that to nightly, especially during the initial backup. And initial backups for any system you may want to do nightly because it could take 1 to 3 hours per gigabyte of data to back up initially, depending on the PC speed, network speed that you have going on. If you have a really fast connection, 5 megs or greater, it could be 30 minutes per gig. It could be a lot faster. Backup reports, multiple backup reports. You can send that on a daily basis. Jeremy asked, can it work with a mapped network drive so we can get the old 198 and XP data? Yes, it does. Good question. Great question. So the Z drive is a mapped drive there, and I can add a network connection as well if I want. So you hit browse and go through and add a network connection. And then if you need credentials, you can do that too. So yes, that's actually a good way of backing up data from your Linux boxes as well. You just run the backup from a Windows machine and then add the network drive. Okay, so now we have the backups running. Now let's go for recovery. Recovery, we go to Online Restore. You can select a date to refresh your entire backup set too. So if I select the date, well, first it's refreshing from the server. So I can go back, well, this account's not very old. If I go back to January 4th of this year, here's all of the machines that have run backups from this account, and here are the files from this account. And you can expand this, and it shows you what's there. So if I go, and you could do that, or you can just select the most recent and go to today's date. Now here are all the machines on here. Got my Mac Mini backing up on it even. XP 32-bit machine. Lasso demo, I go to the F drive now. We see it's got a whole lot more data on here. We got all these images here. So you can check these off, and then you would hit next and tell it where to recover these files. Now I actually prefer for recovery to go to the classic view, and the reason I prefer it is because I can expand the whole screen, and this also doesn't refresh automatically, so you would need to, you just refresh in the wizard, but if you came in here after backing up new data, it wouldn't show automatically. You'd have to hit the refresh button. So let's say I have the F drive. Another nice thing about the classic view is, let's say I want to recover items from backup job 1. So I select backup job 1 there, scroll down, and then I shift select all of backup job 1, and these are the incrementals. Hit right click and recover, and then I pick a location to recover. So if your default location or a new location, include original file path. You'd only include original file path if you're recovering a directory with subdirectories. I'm not still recovering files, so I'd probably just put them to, say, my F drive. So let's say I recover all these to my F drive. On my F drive, I look at Windows Explorer, and I have now all these files. Okay, so let's say I'm just in Windows Explorer and I just hit Quick Mount. Didn't open up any software, just Windows Explorer. And in a minute, we're going to see a new virtual drive created, and I'm launched into it. So we just create virtual drive G. That was really quick and easy. If I go back and open up Image Creator and go to the wizard for recovery, it's going to ask me to browse for the backup job I'm looking for. So I'll just hit this one because it's right in front of me. Backup job 8 gives you some information about it. I hit next, and it's going to say, well, you know, we recognize a whole lot of incrementals in this backup chain. Which one do you want to go to? You selected 32. I'll say you're right. Give me the latest. Next. Which letter would you like to recover this to, or would you like to mount this drive as? A couple of other options. Mount as an empty NTFS folder. Mount is read-only as an option. Or hit next, and this is what I meant by not mattering if you have a lot of incrementals or a lot of split images, because the intelligence of the system doesn't give you any additional steps. It just tells you, okay, this is what we're doing. So no difference in steps from multiple incrementals to one incremental. Now this is going to create virtual drive H, and there we go. Now that I've recovered that, I have my Exchange recovery done, and now I want to dive into the Exchange data I have a little more specifically. So I open up EGR. And I hit the source file. Hit the EDB that I'm looking for. So if I go back to my computer, H drive, mailbox, EDB. Automatically select the transaction log path, hit open. And it's going to load up into the source view the information based on this EDB file that I've just selected. Now for the destination, I select an existing mailbox. So this is going to authenticate based on the Windows user I'm currently logged in as. I hit next. And now it's going to populate the information based on the existing mailbox. So there's a really simple search functionality. So most common type of granular Exchange recovery is, oh, I have an attachment and it's name management for something I needed yesterday. Can you find it for me, please, Mr. IT Man? So you give them a grimace, you open this up, and you search management, you open this, and you say, okay, is this the message you need? Yeah, is this the attachment you need? You said yes, and you say great, and you just take it and you just drag and drop it into his mailbox, and that's done. You can shift select all these and drag and drop them into a mailbox. You can even go in and search through the live database. I'm sorry, looks like this isn't licensed right now to do that. You can search through the live database and remove all the messages that contain that attachment if for some reason people weren't supposed to have it. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. You can drag and drop an entire user's mailbox into the new folder. We can take the whole source EDB file and drag it to dissimilar hardware. So it really gives us a nice, powerful, flexible tool to do all the things that we need to do on a daily basis or on a basis of migrating hardware. And that comes with every ServerSave license. In most programs, you have to pay for an add-on to back up Exchange data. Then you have to buy an add-on to recover the Exchange data. On top of that, there is an advanced setting you have to put in your Exchange backup to work with the Exchange granular recovery. And then there's no preview functionality. So it really is just, a lot of other systems are quite robust. I feel that this integration was a great job in making it very simple, clear, and just a smooth user experience through the whole recovery of Exchange data. Any questions on what we've gone through today?
Does everyone know who their partner specialist is? If you don't worry. You will be assigned one, and they will get in touch with you and do an ROI analysis. You can find out what kind of opportunities this really presents for you and based on the clients that you have.
Yeah, so give them a call. They're going to make sure that not only is this program a good fit for you and your customers, and that you'll be making money and that your customers will be saving money in the time they won't spend losing data, but also what level of the program is appropriate for you. Also, you can schedule time with our sales engineers, and they'll get on and talk more specifically about deployment strategies. If you have a specific environment to talk about, that's even better, because then it gives you much more specifics to address and to formulate. And we're here to help. So feel free to give us a ring. The number is 877-896-3611, extension 1. So we look forward to hearing from you all. And unless there are any other questions, I think we'll sum it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all very much for your participation and sticking with us.
Friends, you've got a good question. You've got a multi-level marketing thing going on. We do have relationships like that, and you talk to your partner specialist, and they'll line up which variation of that relationship would be best for you.
Okay, if there aren't any more questions, we'll go ahead and sign off. And again, thank you all very much for attending, and we hope to see you on board soon.